Okay. All right. So today is January 28th, 2024. Can't believe 3 more days and January is over. It's amazingly fast. Today we're gonna continue to cover our topic Iombi. And I will share a slide. Let me see. Give me a sec. I would need some volunteer to read a slide, and let me know when you start seeing a slide. Okay, I try my best to, how do you make it to, hold on, to make it to presentation mode. Here you go. All right, good. Can everybody see this?
Yes, I
Good.
can. I don't know.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. Can somebody be able to read this slide?
If you want me to, I can.
Excellent. Please.
The seat of Castella, also known as day, the day point, or simply as the day. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Day?
Yes.
Okay. Is an organics energy center within the human anatomy that serves as a storehouse and generator station for the day elemental life force energies, which serves as the innate intelligence and consciousness within all atomic and subatomic form and structure. Within the human body, the day force represents the elemental atomic molecular cellular consciousness, often referred to as the body consciousness, which governs all automatic autonomic processes of the physical body form.
Thank you. It's a tongue twister, isn't it? And I'm so sorry. It's just I didn't want to modify the original text because it's has its own frequency. But yeah, so it's a day point. It's been said a many different name, but that is what we so this day force is basically the domain that we kind of focusing on. So um, all I'm saying here is try to define what that is, and it is actually the intelligence and consciousness. So it's not just a body parts that we think, oh, that's a part of our body, but it actually itself is almost like a little entity, has its own consciousness, right? And where it governs with where it resides, it's in actually dimension 2. So which is connected to the elemental forces. And then also the autonomic processes. What is autonomic? Autonomic is kind of like those, the thing you don't think of. It work on its own, right? Like a blood pressure, the breathing, digestion, sexual arousal. Those are not something we kind of, I guess, think and do it. It just happens, correct? We're not really focusing on to keep, pushing a heart rate, right? Correct? Sometimes it's just heart rate goes up on its own, that type of things. So those are the autonomic, right? So that is a day force is the one that govern it, which is kind of amazing, right? Because we say autonomic because automatic meaning that without our intention, right? But it's if you are connect yourself or should be able to govern this day force, you are actually controlling all that. So in other word, if you are connected to a link to the day force, you could increase or decrease your blood pressure, respiration rate, and etc. You may heard some people could do that, right? How do they do it? Well, it's going through this part, the all body conscious. Okay, so it continues. I'm not sure, Charles, do you still want to continue to read for us?
Yeah, I don't mind. If unless someone else wants to take over, but I don't mind.
Go ahead. This is a more slides, so.
Okay, everyone's like, oh, okay, sure. And what in original day yaw field, angelic human silica base anatomy, the day point, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the day point was fully active and played a key role in the processes of biological hydrolase conversion and symbiosis by and through which the breatharian angelic human form functioned. The day point served as an internal energy station through which the internal Dayate elemental life force currents in consciousness were synthesized, amplified and stored, and through the which the Dayate, if I'm pronouncing that right, life
Yep.
force currents could be consciously utilized and directed within the co-creative processes of Christic elemental command.
Yeah, excellent. So this is I think deity probably came from Dea field. So the silica-based anatomy is the original, said the original human form. Currently, our form is carbon-based, but silica-based is where, you know, when we go into the higher dimensions, the carbon form is no longer be able to sustain embody the consciousness, so it become the other form, which is a silica base. So at that point, you are able to kind of like a plant, be able to convert the water and the light, and to convert that to into the energy. So we are no longer required like a teeth and things and actually digesting some other living entity, um, you know, animals and things like that, which is so wonderful. And your skin, not just through the lung, but your entire skin be able to exchange the gases. So breatharian meaning is that the all your surface are able to breathe, and you know supply whatever the gas is. I don't know if the oxygen is a main um form. Oh, that's right. I think it's not it's same molecule, but oxygen like a molecule is the one that be able to use for the energy conversion. So at this point, it's very important, you know, and the markup form. I don't know if you heard of it. Those spinning, right? So children go out and spin and receive more energy rather than eating, you know, and digesting things. So that's kind of pretty neat. You know, you go out there and then spin and energize and come back home. So that is the angelic human silica base. That's what they're talking about. And at that point, that point, day point was a fully active. Active, you know, active meaning that you are able to have access. Now it's a similar thing about, don't just did you heard that we only utilize 10% of our brain?
Yes.
Yeah, so similar thing happening here. You know, we are not accessing this point at this, you know, more from the current state. So let's go in how and then why that is. Um, this is a short slide, so I wonder anybody wants to take this one?
I mean, I don't mind but if it's up to if anybody wants to take over, then by all means.
Diane?
I can read it.
All right.
Is that pronounced Dan Tien? Dan
Yes.
Teen?
Yes.
Airbenders and the Dan Teen. The day point and the life force energies inherent to this center were directly associated with the branch of Christic Masha Yanik
Yeah.
elemental command known as the Yasefa Air Command or the Airbenders.
Yes. Great. I was so excited when I originally learned this time. Oh, yeah, vendors, we know. I know airbenders, right? It is interesting. More and more we learn about this. You know, the Da and the Day and the Dantian and all that seem to be all similar and related. So let's go through what they're talking about. You know, now they're bringing in airbenders. So just briefly, the airbenders and Dantian. Benders, Mashata, Adasi, Adept have basically this master, okay, essential master, have the ability of elemental command through which they co-create with the law of multidimensional eternal nature. Now they have like a 5 benders, just like we have a 5 elements, and known as crystal benders, water, air, fire, and ether. So the crystal bender, I think here it's known as more like a earth, but it's actually the crystal. You know, some of the layer, the much of the layer of earth is covered with a crystal or silica base, so it kind of makes sense. Now they have each of those names. If you hear that sound and you kind of feel attracted to or gravitate toward, likely you have the inkling to this particular element. So let's see. The first one is Russia Yun. That's a crystal bender. Sama, Sameya. Yasea. Ra. No, actually, Breya. Shadalun. So when you
What are the,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What are the numbers?
I'm gonna go through next.
Okay.
Yeah, so the sound I associate most, at least to me, was a Shadalun. You know, but some people has more than one bending, tendency. But anyway, so that's one clue. That's and you just look at the elements, right? And you could just say astrology. You look at your room, which element do you have the most? And then maybe that's related to your bender skill. Now, this number is affiliated with the number of the authentic tree of life and also our energy chakra point. It's all the same thing. So the crystal vendors, the PowerPoint is there's a kasara point or chakra 1, 5, and 9. So that's how you read. And in air is 3, 7, 11. The ether is 1 to 12 plus 13. So remember the Kathara point or tree of life is a 12 base, right? But when you go to the next level, there is a 13, 14, 15. I don't know, you may not remember, but this extra 3 number is become 1, also number 1. So it becomes 13 together. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not confusing you, but the number doesn't work like our math. Our math is equally weighting each number, right? 1 plus 1 equal 2. But it's actually the original math wasn't working like that way. 12 base, but each time you have a cycle of 12, when you go to the next 12, you have to go into the 3 sets of layer, which is 13, 14, 15 in this case. 13, 14, 15 is a 3 unit, right? But if you look at it in a different way, it's become 1 unit also. So it could be 13 or it could be 13, 14, 15. But anyway, that is what it means. Ether bender it's actually work on the next layer, next domain. So it's a little bit special, right? Ether. So normally ether has the most dominant power because it could go to the next dimension. But interestingly, when you're talking about Dan Tien, they're saying that airbender has the most power. Okay, why is that? Can somebody read this paragraph for me?
Sure. Vyanja, what? Human airbenders of pre-ancient times were considered the headmasters of the elemental command ground force, even though the four branches of Mahayanic elemental command are all equal and possess equal powers. Because of their direct association and co-creative relationship with the Da force, through which all the other elemental life force energies must flow to achieve expression in physical, atomic, etheric, telluric form.
Thank you. So according to, they're all equal, right? In divine template, there's no hierarchy. So each one has each role and equally honored. However, when you come to the day point, the airbender is considered to be the master. Okay. So may the force be with you. Let's study a little bit more about these airbenders and Dantian. Somebody?
I can
Sure.
continue. The Da point of the pre-ancient angelic human earth stewards was highly developed, as were their abilities to command, directly and consciously co-create with all five of the elemental forces: earth, crystal, water, fire, ether, and air, through their mastery of skill and applications of the air command. Only the adepts of air command could fully direct the elemental life force energies of the four other forces in regard to physical atomic expression, due to their skills of co-creatively managing the Daya T force through their embodied Da point energy center.
Thank you. Ooh, Charles dropped off. Maybe. Oh no.
Well, did I?
Oh no, I'm sorry. The Diane dropped off. I thought you may have fell off. I'm sorry. You're still here. That's hopefully she could come back in. So so they're basically saying audible in continuity on this adept. So she's back. So this is basically so even though those a master, right? Basically the true master of the adepts be able to fully control over this diate point, the da point or day point. So that's why I put this Yoda, those only the few. Wow, that's kind of a tall order. I was also imagining those, I don't know, you remembered anime Airbender, right? Or something like a Fire Nation to go dominate, took over all the other the forces, right? Kind of. That kind of reminded me of that. Okay, so that's already kind of put us to the okay, how can we access to this? Okay, so here it is. Can somebody take this one?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
In contemporary mortal Earth human carbon based anatomy, the pre-ancient day point, da point, still exists, but it remains primarily dormant, with only a small portion of its original energies and powers still manifest in active operations. In the contemporary human, the portion of the day point that remains active is often referred to as the Dantian energy center, which is viewed as the center of the life force energies. Within many of the ancient mystery schools, it is the current state in the Dantian portion of the day point serves as the seat through which the smaller currents of the chi elemental life force directs the autonomic functions of the physical body and consciousness. With specialized training, the elemental chi force can be consciously harnessed, amplified, and directed through the physical body for lesser feats of more localized elemental command, such as demonstrating in ancient arts like a Tai Chi and various other martial arts applications.
Thank you. So it is it's a small portion and a small localized activity, but it is possible with training. All right. Let's go. Who can take this?
I'll take it.
All right.
The Dantian center above cannot fully run nor synthesize the full spectrum Dayate elemental life force, once utilized by the pre-ancient deified angelic human anatomy. But the potentials of the contemporary Dantian power center can be progressively expanded through the sacred deification process, by which the currently mortified human biology and consciousness can progressively achieve reverse mutation to reclaim the dormant potentials of the pre-ancient angelic human deate airbenders.
Yeah, that's really encouraging. And wow, can we become airbenders? Right? That's very cool. So I was quite excited. I remember I was very excited up to this point. Um, anyway, so um, deification, that's kind of cool name. Modified, I'm sure there's some kind of horrific story behind it, but anyway, so let's go on. And I know some of the we already covered. So this one is I'm just clipping out the part of the exercise to activate this flow, but it shows where I found this is very helpful just because everything's so congested. And just for that conversation's sake, I want you to take home with a little bit more clear vision of what is what. So, Dantian Energy Center is approximately 1 inch below the physical navel. So if you have a navel point, it's about 1 inch below. Now they said its position vary and it can be moved, but it won't be moved too far away from it. So it's just approximately 1 inch below of your navel, right? So the day point, Dantian point, okay? So day point, and then it's stationed slightly below the Dantian and above the E of B. So we are kind of like referring all the kind of same thing, but it actually the very distinct point in a consciousness and a law of the body. So unfortunately, what happened is that what they say they call this a mutation, but it's I guess so. I guess if they call that's what it is. It depends on who and how you look at it. But what they are talking about, it's all compressed. So this is why we have a lot of problem in a physical body in this area because it's supposedly it shouldn't be discongested. It should be far away from each other, all those points. Do you see like so many point is lining up here? How the energy gonna flow? It's just so super congested. This is why you have a woman has a lot of, something often has an issue with reproductive organs, some, digestion issues, male too. And no wonder because it's all squished, it should be far away. So here's a raw center, which is solar plexus. It's a midpoint of your core. The raw energy of the raw center is very important, right? This is where the self-esteem and self-confidence you project who you are, I am, is coming from. The golden energy, yellow. And then, unfortunately, our navel is, according to them, it's a false navel. It's positioned incorrectly. It should be lining up with, I believe, is a day point, Dantian. Anyway, it's shifted. Now, so here's a Dantian, a little bit below, and day is below that. And then the bottom, this is a point where you cross your hip bone. If you hold your hip bone from both sides and bring toward in the center, that's usually where the point, the E and B point. And this is a very important point where, I don't know, you've seen those people whose soul is being eaten, some kind of possessed, in a process of possession. This is where it enters. Access point. It's very important point. We need to be protected. Also, Also, the same token is an energy, important energy point. I think I would imagine that's what the umbilical, the umbi coming from. This should be our navel or something like that, because that's where the silver cord comes out from. Anyway, I don't want to go off too much in tangent. Center point, dominant, stations level. Okay, we density frame point between the top of the hip bone. Yes, so we cover that EOP point. Okay. I'm showing this because if you're interested in moving or activating the point, these are the slightest place though, it become more and more important for your practice. And I never learned from those martial art master, but I know the people who took those classes for years, they said they don't teach you. That was very secret. They don't really teach you where that is. After the years, it's kind of secret things. But then they teach you how to activate through the stance and breathing exercise. And so you notice that you all concentrate around this area. I really don't know how they teach, but now, well, can we become airbender, right? So let's explore that potential. This is, I didn't want to change the text. I just copy and pasted it for you. Basically, there's a long series of material and training we went through, actually. There's years of material before this slider series that I'm introducing you today. It's a sliders 10. This is sliders 1 through 12. It's introduced back in originally in 2008, and the workshop continued on up to 2012 or 13, I believe. So they're saying that all the past and previous work and training and sliders 1 to 9 leading up to make us deification, like a deity, the reversing modified mutation, be able for us to access the eternal flow of energy force. So in this series, there are, I believe, like 6 or 7 steps. Okay, and with a moving meditation, very much like a Tai Chi exercise, is called Sacred Butterfly. I think I did introduce that in one of the class. With that and a chant, and you start to moving this. Do I have a picture? Yeah. Start activating this flow. This is a vertical the view, and then there's also the movement. I can't put everything in a slide, but give you some kind of visual that how the energy flow in and out once this thing is open. So the training started with opening all 13 chakras first. And then we do this Tai Chi, similar to Tai Chi movement called Sacred Butterfly with this song and move, using very gently, and the breathing is start from tailbone to the just don't want to make a mistake. What is so tailbone to the day. You see this is a number. It's kind of really confusing, right? 1, and going back and forth a tailbone to day point, right? And then go all the way up and come down and end the tailbone again. I'm sorry, come back day point and end at the EOB point. So this is kind of activation highway. Each point has some certain significance, and then each those point is a very important point of your body. Those are very esoteric mystical teaching, but each point has a meaning. Now, EOB point is quite important for somebody who is suffering from the attack, especially astral attack, because this is a point of the entry for them. And then also if you're able to honor this EMB point, then be able to protect it, meaning that fully a little bit more access from your internal energy point, right? And you'll be able to claim ownership. It's not like exposed, hey, kind of thing. So it is important. Now, going up to as a point today, this year is a year of 8. This is why it's very important. The Lion's Gate this year, 888. This is where the chakra 8 come out to. Here's the 8 coming in and come out like here in this point. As a point is a point where that your soul going back when we finish our lesson here in this dimension. When we become whole, a capitalistic body, which is a Christed body, meaning you are becoming whole. So, a lot of people like to believe this is a year that this gateway is portal going to be open and you're going to have access. So we're going to honor this 888 and as a point this year. So, maybe that's why bringing me more and more attention of this teaching now, because if we by honoring, opening or accessing, or just to be aware of those channel, the point exists, now right? Once you know it. You start to kind of paying more and more attention over your body's anatomy. You may be able to access better by looking at this. Each color has also the meaning. So just looking at this diagram itself is helpful. Okay. That's more like a close-up of that. And this is so many more. I'm not going to go through this. It's just not helpful at this point because we're not going through all the technique today. Hold on just a second. Now I want to share. Oh, before I gonna go on, any questions so far? Or
Oh, I want your doggy. I want the background, the dog in the background.
thank you. Tono. Yeah.
No, what you're teaching is very similar to Taoism and Taoism, the philosophy on inner alchemy, or working with the Dantian, the lower Dantian, anyways. So it's very interesting, and what I'm taking it so far is it's very similar to microcosmic orbit training. I think that's what it's called.
That sounds pretty mysterious. That's cool. Now, I'm gonna show one more thing, Charles, maybe. I think it's one of it should be posted in a member site. I show you the Sacred Butterfly movement. That is the opening movement of Dantian. So you could try. And if enough people is interested in, we could go through this like not the 13 step, but I think like a 7 step, but it will take like half day to go through the whole technique, or you could just do yourself. But I feel irresponsible just to share this portion of wrong teaching because I don't know. Yeah, I feel very irresponsible if I do that, but you will be able to look for yourself. Well, reach out to me if you need more, but I will show you one more thing. Hold on. Okay, so can I share this? I'm gonna make it bigger. I don't like this PowerPoint. So, okay, I hope you could see enough, or maybe here, okay. Gosh, technical. Okay, so this is a continuation of the teaching that Charles, maybe I don't know, you could see this. They're the two different force, and Gi and Chi, and Guye, and then Guyer or some other words for it. But basically, one is less natural, and one is a natural form of the energy force. Unfortunately, right now on Earth, just like an apple shaped like that, like this, right? And many other things looks like that, like, and yin and yang, like we learn yin and yang force, right, or torus force. So that's supposedly, according to those original human form, it is a mutated form. The reason why, because it's a polar opposite and cannot come together. So the polarity is good as long as they have a room to come together. But the polarity exists now. It's a binary. It doesn't exist. It exists on its own. So the actual polarity, the natural polarity has a third point. That's why we call Trinity, where those two opposing forms comes together. There is a certain portion comes together to receive energy, the point where it is become Trinity form. Now, when it's twisted, the mutation causing the polar opposite does never become together. So this is why forming yin and yang. Do you see those yin yang form, right? It never comes together. Do you see this form here? Can you see the yin and yang?
Yeah.
It is actually accurate description of what's happening here. So that teaching is correct, and it actually beautifully describe the complicated physics behind it. So you have a two opposing vortex here and here, and squish within in this sphere. Okay, and then if you really follow the energy for formation, it is the form where the two never can come together. So they keep chasing each other, but it will never, there's no place, a neutral point. So if you keep chasing, you will never be able to receive the eternal force because there's no opening. So it become ever consuming form. If you don't consume, so if this is energy form exists, you require the external energy to come in to feed this creation because it's self-consuming mode. Now, originally, it's called the sacred butterfly. Yin and yang was not like this. It will look more like this. So this is a self-generating form where the polarized form go out, but there is a place you could come back to receive that eternal force energy. So each time you go out, away to each other, there's a mass that come turn around and come together. Not completely overlapping, but come together enough to exchange, become Trinity form. And then once you receive the energy, go back out again. And then come back and receive and go out. So it is called Yang Yun A flow, Yang Yue, Yang Yue. Yin and yang versus yang yue. Another word is sacred butterfly. So this is the organic form, the eternal form, and a free energy form. And this is the energy consuming form, which is dominant form here on Earth. This is why we, animal eating each other, and we have to consume constantly something to sustain our life. Now, there are the series of things we can change to become less of this and more of this. At this point, you can be fully this because Earth is not fully this. I believe that only certain portion of Earth could sustain more of this form. So rather than, okay, I'm gonna become airbender today. But I think you could incorporate certain element of an airbender aspect into your life and practice and in your thoughts and thinking, and you could dramatically improve. I think you are, the way of life. So I'm gonna go back to and just pause moment in here. That I don't know you're familiar with this cartoon. I love this in Ang, and I forgot the Saki or Sake. Forgot his name, but he's kind of like a hard a stone head, guy, and Ang is airbender. You and he's like, we may not become an overnight, but some aspect of an we could bring it into our life to slowly shift our frequency. So I'm gonna stop sharing here now and open for, discussion or comment.
Thank you for the class.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Oh, where did you get your teaching from? Where did you get the slides from?
Oh, the slide I made, but the original text used to be available, but now they've been taken down. I will post the slider 10 in our member page. I think you'll be able to find in probably various area. Sometimes Facebook site, some group still hold a library. Obviously, if you attended this seminar like back in 2000, early 2000, those people have that. I have few friends who actually in the course. So originally got that from them. But I do have most of the materials.
Okay, I was just curious where you got your material from.
Yeah,
I'm always
friends, mostly friends, and yeah, and then yeah.
okay. Fair enough. No, like I said, it's a very similar to um how what I've learned.
That's good. That's good. It should be. I said it should be, but I mean, based on a lot of things I read, even though it's limited, it's everything has contained certain truths. I do believe a lot of things came from the same place originally, and have to be modified or whatever to fit to the time period. But you gotta follow whatever you believe and you feel resonate well with at the time, and take whatever useful for you now and leave the rest. Now I'm going to continue to incorporate and then share from this teaching how to maintain the high frequency, because almost everything in many teaching is the way to live fully and then also healthy, abundant, in a good life is how to hold the frequency that match to you and prevent the negative frequency entering from your being. And there's a simple few pages document that how to do that. And I shared that with you guys before, but I'm gonna go through once again what and then how you eat, what movement you need to do, and then how. And the most importantly, the spiritual practice, 12 attitude and responsibility we went through. So those are the core. So that's probably the best medicine, for all. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the recording now